So we've got Tamara Kasper, but you prefer to go by TK.
That's correct.
You are a very trailblazing woman. You are. So you've got this cool name. You're working with iHeart Media. When I first met you, you were in our promotion staff.
Yes.
Doing appearances when we go out on the weekends, and you were just like this gung-ho, high energy, just up for anything kind of girl. And then I learned that there's a side of you that you might not expect because you're a beautiful young lady now in our sales department with
Thank you very
iHeart Media.
much. I appreciate that.
And you're a car mechanic. That's amazing.
Thanks. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only
No, there's only
trailblazers.
2% of the population women who are car mechanics. I mean, this is a guy's industry. You don't
It
think
is.
of cute girls being, or girls in general being car mechanics. So how did you get this side hustle going on in your life?
The side hustle? Well, I started mechanics after graduating college. So I graduated in 2008. Showing my age a little bit. But so when I graduated, it was during the recession. So a lot of people were losing their jobs. So I didn't feel like I had the right to deny any job I got. So I did a lot of like oddball jobs, like in my mindset was. I did like lawn service. I did sales, like door-to-door sales. And then I just started work on cars just because I was at a mechanic shop getting an oil change for my car.
Right.
And I asked for a job interview. I asked if they had a job position. And so they kind of like give me a short little job interview right then. And they're like, okay, go ahead. And I didn't really do anything much. I just mopped the floors, cleaned the equipment, made everything look really pretty. But it was a start.
Wait a minute. So I have to ask you, and I remember doing this one time when I was newly married, had my first son. My husband was bringing home very little money, and I was determined to have some shopping money. So I went to a bar in the neighborhood because I'd been a bartender before I was married, and I just went up to the manager and said, I would really love to be a bartender here. He goes, no, this isn't an appropriate place for you to work. I go, yes, it is. No, it's really not. I said, could I just try? So I would put my son to sleep with my husband, and then I'd go off at like 8 at night and bartend until midnight. And I remember making $43 my first night, but I had money.
Right, yeah.
Right?
The independence.
Yes. So I love that connection. There's not very many people willing to take these types of jobs. And so you ask a cart, like a place where you get your oil changed, if you could work there? That's hysterical.
I actually had a similar story of that. That same mechanic place I first started off, they were actually selling that business. I didn't know that back then when I first started. So about 2 weeks later, the new owner came up and told me that they want me to work, but they want me in the front. I said I didn't want to do that. You know, I was here to learn about cars. And they're like, well, there's no room for you here. So I was like trying to persuade them any way possible. I was like, give me 2 weeks to prove it to you that I could do it. But the problem was that I was pretty green. I just started. I really didn't know much. So I just basically held that job down until I found another job because I started realizing how new I was. And I wasn't going to be able to prove anything to him. But I just wanted to learn more. I didn't want them to give me the position that they thought was right for me. I wanted to.
The girl up front, you
Right,
wanted to be one of the
exactly.
guys in the back learning about cars.
Exactly.
I also got my actual real start in the media business in Austin. I went to the PBS station and I wanted to work for KLRU. And I promised them that I would give me 2 weeks, just like you said, give me 2 weeks, and I will bring in auction items because this is the PBS station where, you know, you go on TV and you say, oh, and call now, and you will get this book of Josh Groban or whatever, you know, those things.
Right.
I was working behind the scenes gathering auction items, and I promised the manager, I will get you a car. I will get a car donated. Give me 2 weeks. You don't even need to pay me. And then if I can get that car donated, please give me a job. And her name was Zan, and she said, okay. And I got a Honda donated, and that's where I started my radio career. I worked for free.
It's amazing, right?
Yes. It's just a belief in yourself, TK, and then you might not get it right the first time, but you just keep going. And look at what you've accomplished. I mean, you're now doing something that most women wouldn't even think of doing because you just put yourself out there.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Before I started my own business, I had to go from job to job to job, uh, because of the fact that I only had a very small period of time to prove myself
Yeah.
that I can do it. But since I was a beginner, I knew that I only had a limited time to learn until I was let go. And it happened quite often in the very beginning.
Now, this is
I,
working as a car mechanic.
as a mechanic, that's correct.
Okay.
There's one place I worked for. It was one of those like quick oil changes place. I was there for a month and I had to leave because it was just like the boss was drank heavily.
Oh.
It was one of those. I've never
Kind of
been,
a toxic environment.
Yes, and he was always asking me to go out for dinner with him and stuff like that, and see me inappropriately. That's what he wanted, so I had to leave. But like, I just moved. I was in Dallas back then. I literally from the first job, the first mechanic job that I was just talking about previously, I landed a job there, that quick oil change type of place, and I lasted for a month so I can get a paycheck to get an apartment, and then I was done. I had to go find something else.
Wow. So being in a man's world, you kind of had to deal with that kind of stuff. What was your did you talk to anyone during this time because you're young, you're being pressured by the boss? Did you have a friend or a confidant that you could say, you know, what's going on? How do I deal with this? Or were you just strong enough to just say bye-bye?
I had definitely some close friends that helped me through this. My parents, they didn't really understand the direction I was going to.
Right.
So it was kind of hard for me to talk to. Like now they're so proud of me. You know, I'm like their golden star right there. So now I can talk to them about anything. But back then they just didn't understand why I have this college degree, but yet I'm taking a different route.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, I guess it's in my blood. My grandma was the same way too. She started a business back. She's 90 years old now, so showing her age. So she started a business when most women didn't start businesses.
Right.
So.
Isn't that amazing? So now tell us about, you say you're a business owner. Tell us about your business.
So I have a shop called 613 Shop. Actually,
613?
613.
Uh-huh.
And actually, those numbers have a significant meaning. In Judaism, 613 is like a category of good deeds. And I started these campaigns after Hurricane Harvey because I was trying to figure out how I can help the community.
Right.
I didn't have a big truck to go save people. Like I just had this urge, and I was like, I don't have a boat. I don't have a big truck. Like, how can I help people? So I was like, well, I have a skill set. So back then, I started to do campaigns, a lot of fundraising, crowd surfing to help people who cars like flooded or got damaged by all that, you know, all the flood water, nasty flood water. Ugh, it's gross.
Yes, it was.
And get their cars back up and running.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to continue with that because it was such a great success. I was able to help. I'm just one person, so I was able to help 6 families. Wow. So and I'm actually looking for a campaign now to start doing to help another underprivileged family to get their cars back up.
After Imelda, or just anyone who just has a car problem?
Anyone that has a car problem.
How did people find out about you the first time around during Harvey?
I just put the word out on Facebook, social media. That is a very powerful tool. And I was able to, it was just like from people's communities going back and forth, talking. So
yeah, word of mouth and social media. So do you have any employees now, or is it still just TK's one-woman shop?
I do have people help me here and there, but nothing permanent, just to, you know, help me. I've had employees before. It's just change of flow.
Yeah. So you also work here at iHeart Media.
Yeah, that's the reason why I don't have any more employees.
Because this job takes up a lot. Now, what do you do here? You're in sales.
I do key account coordinator. I put the commercial spots in.
Mm-hmm. We do a lot of commercials.
Yep,
you got to have someone like you doing it. And then after your long day here, and one of the things I found out, TK, is a lot of our women on this Houston Women podcast, high energy ladies. They are enthusiastic. They are curious. They're driven and high energy. If you're putting in a full day here and then you have time to go to your side hustle, your business, I mean, is there any sleep going on, any eating, any exercise? What's your personal, like your work-life balance like?
So I started recently dedicating Saturday mornings for my run. I take my dog with me and we go running because it's very hard to balance.
Yes, it is.
Very hard. It's very challenging because you get into this work mode and then eventually you are overworking yourself and you start getting unhappy. So you kind of have to schedule it. You literally have to take time out. Like you have to force yourself or you're never going to do it. So I forced myself that Saturday morning is my running day. And it really helps me. It lets me reflect, think about my week, think about what I want to do. It's kind of like a reset button.
Yes. That's excellent.
During the week, sometimes it's very little sleep. Sometimes I have I'm just used to it. I've had my business for such a long time, doing it like a side business that my body's just used to it now.
So you work here and then you go to your shop?
That's correct.
And then you repair cars?
That's correct.
Like until what hour?
It depends on the job.
Wow.
Sometimes 1 o'clock, sometimes from 2. Like,
how do you get yourself motivated? Is it just because you know you're getting... I didn't drive for 3 months because of this broken leg. And I tell you, I'm like a new woman when the doctor said, Dana, you can drive again. Driving is our freedom.
Yes.
So is that your motivation? I got to get this car back to this family so they can be free.
Yes. It's definitely always in the back of my head, just thinking about that. When you have your business and people depend on you, it kind of changes your perspective. That's definitely a pusher,
kind of a motivator.
Yeah, it's definitely a motivator.
What is it that and I always love to find out, what is it the way that you were raised? I've had several women come in here and through tragedy they have experienced incredible success and peace from tragedy because of the perspective, the way that they looked at it, the things that they did after the tragedy. What is it about the way that you were raised, your experiences in life that got you to be using more of your brain, using more of your energy than most people would do? Is there something that you can pinpoint?
I think I had really good examples. My mom and dad always worked really hard. My dad was a hard worker. He was a doctor, so there was a lot of times that I didn't see him for the weekend because he was on call so much. Mm-hmm. I just think... Truthfully, I really don't know. I never really thought about that. I want to make my parents proud. I want to make my community proud. I personally, I've always worked really hard. It's just been something that
you were taught this at
right.
a young age. Yeah.
I started my business when I was 26-year-old. A lot of 26-year-olds go out and party and stuff like that, but right. I was trying to really build something.
That's another thing that's a common denominator. Our Houston women, they want to make themselves proud, their family proud. They've got some role model who was really inspiring to them, worked so hard that they feel like they owe it to them to be the best that they can be too. And your name, 613?
613.
What, you said that was like a Jewish term or a number for good deeds?
Yes, correct.
Talk a little bit about that.
So it's like a category for like good deeds, and I just took that name because I wanted to start. I always had this. I played with the idea around having a nonprofit, but it's a very difficult, sticky situation because you have to get like a board. Then you have to,
the requirements are pretty intense.
Yes, and after a while, the mission sometimes gets a little blurred with everyone's opinion on it, and the whole idea is to help people get their cars back to ready. So I don't see why I can't do that as a for-profit. So
right. There's no reason why you can't be a for-profit company and do good deeds and make some money too.
I don't see what's the problem with that.
Right. You've got to pay for your equipment. Let's talk about your equipment. Where are you located?
I'm located off of 610 near Telephone Road. Mm-hmm. It's like right across the street from this bikes and trikes place called Boss Hoss. I'm right across from that.
Now, I heard it through the grapevine that you're also a motorcycle rider.
Yes.
Let's talk about that, you wild woman.
Actually, I have to give the credit to my boyfriend on that one. Before my boyfriend, I've literally just focused on mechanics. And then I met my boyfriend, and he's into custom cars. Mm-hmm. He works for a shop called Extensive Metalworks. And they're on a Velocity channel. Their show's called Texas Metal. And he really got me understanding the art of cars. And I definitely look at shapes and lines more when I look at cars and just seeing the artistic value in it.
Yeah.
So he loves Harleys. And I've always wanted to ride a bike, but I was like a little nervous because, it's 2 wheels. We live in Houston. Our roads are bad.
Right. It's dangerous to be on a motorcycle on our Houston freeways because truly they are harder to see than a car.
Yes, I had experience with that. I got into a motorcycle accident almost 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It would be 2 years in March. He and I were coming back from Galveston, and we were on 45 North.
Right.
And this guy in a green Suburban, he just didn't see me. He switched lanes.
Yeah.
I tried to avoid it, and I hit my boyfriend's motorcycle, and my motorcycle flipped because it had a wobble in it after I hit it.
Right.
So my motorcycle flipped, and I tumbled like 8 times.
Oh, gosh.
I was trying to count.
TK.
I was wearing full gear. I was wearing my helmet. I was wearing full gear. Thank God, nothing. Only thing that happened was like road rash in my arms and my legs. But I was very lucky. Nothing. I never broke a bone. I just bounced a couple times.
And no other cars hit you.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I know, because there was a lot of cars behind me, and that was the first thing I thought about when I fell was, oh, great, there's cars behind me.
Sure.
And there's nothing you can do. You
Yep.
just got to roll with it. And that was
Yep.
kind of like my mindset, just there's nothing I can do right
Here
now.
it goes. Let's see what happens.
Exactly.
Did you take motorcycle safety training? Did you take the class?
I did, and my boyfriend taught me beforehand.
Okay. Because that was I was able to ride a motorcycle for 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And then we gave it away to a Sunny listener. We did this several years ago, and I had to take that motorcycle safety training. It was a pretty intensive course.
Yes.
And what I learned was, A, cars can't see you.
Yes.
B, make sure you're bright and colorful so cars can see you.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking, well, I don't want anyone to see me. I mean, I'm just learning how to ride a motorcycle. But yet you had to be flashy. So, when they're looking over their shoulder either way, they will see that spot of color and at least stop before they change lanes. So it's a fascinating thing that I never would have known had I not taken that motorcycle safety class. Still afraid of motorcycles, though, but good for you.
Yes. It's true. It's psychologically, people don't recognize motorcycles as a car.
Right.
So even if you're really cautious on the road, if you see a motorcycle, you may not register it.
Yeah. You as the motorcycle rider, you're the one that has to watch the cars.
Exactly.
Because they are not seeing you. Yeah. That's an amazing thing.
It would be very helpful if people were less distracted on their phones, though, I have to say.
You're probably right.
So,
you're probably right. What advice would you have for, I love your heart.
Thank you.
For maybe kids today, women, to just go for it? How do you get up and go for it every day? Not listening to the sounds of, you shouldn't be doing that. You're a girl.
One is to have really good friends with you. And you'll know this. You'll learn this, because I had to learn this the hard way, is that sometimes you have a great idea and you know it's a great idea, and some people start saying negative things. Drop them. What are we going to do? It would save me a lot of trouble if I knew that, because I kind of hung on to them a little bit too long.
Right.
Your friends are very important. Be open to talk about it. The friends who want to know about what your project is are the friends that you want to keep around.
That's excellent advice. That is excellent. Well, I'm so proud of watching you grow into the woman that you are. I mean, you've been here for how long?
For almost 2 years.
That's amazing. You're doing great. Your job again. How can people find you here at iHeart or your job? Give us all your social media.
Instagram would be TK Gearface at Instagram.
Okay. TK Gearface. I love it.
Tamara Kasper on Facebook. And you can also email me at SIX13shop@gmail.com.
Awesome. Well, it's just a delight to talk to you and learn about all the great things that you're doing and plans for the future. Are you pretty much set right now, or do you have some other greater ambitions?
I do have some plans. Short plan is that this weekend I have a workshop.
Oh, excellent. So like regular people can come in and learn?
Yes. And anyone can come and learn. I do have like a little bit of a fee just because of supplies and all. Because this weekend we're doing how to do an oil change.
Excellent.
So every workshop is different. I try to make it that way so you can literally learn about the car. The last workshop I did it was about how to jumpstart your car and how to change a battery. Times before that, I was changing a flat tire, stuff like that. So
SIX13shop.com. If you want to do the workshop this weekend, learn about your car so you're not dependent on others.
that's correct.
You can save yourself a bunch of money. Check it out. What time is the workshop?
It's from 1 to 3.
On Saturday?
Saturday.
Excellent. Well, you're just a delight. Thank you. The best of luck to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being a part of this. We appreciate you.